something has really messed up. I had everything set up and then all of a sudden it just dropped everything. I know a couple of you are waiting, so hopefully you can kind of tune things in here to coming onto this stream. So I don't know what YouTube did there. I tried setting my settings on my cell phone to basically horizontal so I could use my tablet, and then basically everything's crashed. So I guess all that editing that I've done for this stream has basically gone to waste. But hey, I'm live now. That's all that matters. So I do apologize for whatever YouTube decided to do there. That was really confusing. All I was trying to do was go horizontal, and apparently it did not like that. So I'm here, I'm live, I do apologize. Hopefully you guys figured that out. I'm pretty sure you guys have. I see a couple things joining in the chat at this point. So, yeah, music's all royalty free. You'll find the links in the post description if you enjoyed the content, you know, like the buttons, all that kind of stuff. I just gotta kind of boot up my chat here right away so I can actually see things, because things don't work on my tablet. So, yeah, smash all those buttons. I know you guys probably did on the previous stream, but do it again because, yeah, I just had to kind of make an emergency editing set up here. I was like, what is going on? So yeah, I apologize for the tardiness, but we're here now. That's all that matters. So it just kind of sucks that everything that I punched in for all my keyword stuff has not worked now. So yeah, I'm relying on you guys a little bit more than usual, but it seems like you guys are coming in. So thanks for tuning in. I will be in the chat here momentarily and then explain what we'll be doing here right away. Because, yeah, for those of you who might be just tuning in, unfortunately, yeah, everything kind of just crashed, and I had everything set up, and then it just didn't like me switching to the vertical position. So, hello, Claymationzilla, Cheetah Island, and Godzilla. So, yeah, now that I've explained all my technical issues to everybody, be sure to do all those things so that way it kind of helps out, because I already had everything planned out, but apparently YouTube has not been very kind to me this evening. So, yeah, what we'll be doing is animating. I had my cell phone all set up for, whatchamacallit, stop motion, but, of course, things didn't go according to plan, so now I am here. So, Doug. We already got Doug requests, I see. No surprise there. I actually probably will be able to start Doug momentarily, not too long from now. I do have a decent amount of brown and gray plasticine. Hello, Holly. I'm not going to zoom the camera down on you because you just run away every time I do it, so... Okay. Go away. Don't licking my hands. I'm trying to type on things, and I don't need your dog slobber on my keyboard. No, go lay down, please. No, it's not rockets. Yeah, I'm pushing buttons because you... No, go lay down. Not that cute anymore. Already had technical issues. Because it's... Yeah. I'm supposed to be live on my cell phone here too, so hopefully I can close this and nothing bad will happen. Okay, I think we're okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna momentarily put my cell phone back up here while it's in my hands. So yeah, I might pound in just a few keywords here to kind of help things out. So if you guys have any requests or questions as to what, you know, sort of things will be taking place during today, be sure to check, yeah, chat away, I do say. Most of the setup has already been done, so that has been done in a previous stream. So yeah, be sure to, you know, check those out if you haven't, if you want to know how things are kind of set up. But today we'll basically be doing actual run-throughs on the animation. Doug. Patrote Frog? I don't even know who that is. My brother would be a huge fan of that at request. He's a big frog fan. Amphibians are pretty cool, but... There's a... Hey, Godzilla 950, thanks for tuning in. There's one in particular from the... Whatchamacallit? Prehistoric Planet that I thought was really cool. I can't remember what it was called though. Can you let me edit while I'm live? Apparently not. Okay. No. Okay. Okay. Now this is failing me. We appear to be having some technical issues. God, Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and just relog back in, because apparently that didn't like me playing around with it whatsoever. That's really touchy. What is your problem? What is your major malfunction, YouTube? But yeah, the frog from Prehistoric Planet I thought was really cool. Can't remember its name though. I have to look it up. It's like a really big frog. It like ate small dinosaurs and stuff like that. I went on Godzilla toy hunted. I found Suku and Doug. Oh, that sounds like a good run. And the chat's now working on here for some reason, so at least now I can actually see what you guys have to say. Sub to Claymation Zilla, because I told me a couple... okay, now it's gone. Frog from Prehistoric Planet. There it is. Oh god. I'm going to copy and paste that name if I can. Bizufo. I don't even know how to say that at all. Interesting looking froggy. If any of you haven't seen Prehistoric Planet, it's definitely a good recommendation as far as I'm concerned, because it is probably one of the best dinosaur documentaries out there thus far. So, yeah, all my language stuff is not saved. That's annoying. I don't understand why it just really does not like me having the horizontal setting when I'm on a mobile device live. That's really weird. Anyone else have experience with going live on YouTube here, having problems with it, not, you know, actually giving you, like good options for vertical and stuff like that? I don't understand. It's really weird. This is, yeah. Oh well. Make do, Godzilla. Okay, at least now the language part's saved. That's probably kind of important. So now I can go back to this. I apologize everyone for the technical errors. It's kind of annoying, but Godzilla toy hunt. See, you all are big toy enthusiasts. So I still haven't actually gone on my so-called toy hunt for my whatchamacallit Godzillas from 1998. King of Kaiju. That's a pretty cool name. I like that name. Thanks for tuning in. At least back in. So yeah, we've been having some technical issues. I think I've kind of resolved at least what I can for now. Still super annoyed with you, YouTube. I don't understand why you decided to cancel everything on me by just simply pushing a back button, but I guess it happens, so the show must go on. So what we're going to be doing today is basically striking Godzilla. So the actual animating part has pretty much taken place. I'll try to get you guys a better angle so you can see a little bit better what's going on, because there's obviously a lot of glare going on, and the lighting setup might not necessarily be the best for the entire stream, because obviously I'm in the basement here and all the lights are generally focused on the stop motion aspect, but I won't rant on too long about that because it's already been stated in a previous stream, where basically you don't want a whole lot of lighting behind you, basically none, because that's going to cast a shadow, and you want to wear all black. You want basically invisible as possible. So we're going to basically have Godzilla run up to Shimo, and Shimo's going to strike him in the face. So we'll see how far we get along with this stream today. We probably obviously won't get the entire scene done, because then it's going to be all night, and unfortunately I'm not in a position to be streaming for that long, unfortunately, just yet. probably in the near future. So yeah, be sure to support everything that you can, and we'll get started here with some stop motion animation. So first things first, it's always important to make sure that your lighting is actually pretty good and everything is solid and nothing's going to move around. Just as a quick suggestion, make sure it's in focus. I've already gone through all my settings and stuff like that, so we'll bring you guys in closer so you can possibly see what's going to be happening. And I'm already bumping lights. Unfortunately, this is kind of not exactly a very easy task trying to stream and do things on stop motion, so I might just keep you guys over the shoulder kind of perspective. So, yeah, this is frustrating. I don't know what to do with the camera. I might put it up there. It might be... I'm gonna have to disconnect from my microphone and everything, unfortunately. Which I don't really want to do, but, I think I could put you guys over here. Without trying to bump into the mic setup, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you can see my disaster zone of a basement. I still don't think this is going to work out very well. Okay. Multiple cameras. I think I'm going to have to disconnect from the actual mic though. Oops, that probably sounded like an earthquake. Okay. Well, I think you guys are going to have to deal with the perspective through the cell phone. I'll just leave that as a slight cliffhanger for the animation. So you can see what I'm essentially kind of doing. And behind the scenes footage. We'll just put it like that. Okay. Thanks, Kingzilla. That's a really nice compliment. I'm glad I'm your favorite YouTuber. I'm a little rusty, probably not as smooth as a lot of the other ones on here, especially when it comes to the streaming aspect here. I think I've proven that well enough with it being somehow closed sporadically, and yeah, I've ranted on enough about my technical problems. So I'm going to pull out my little S Pens for my remote, so that way I can basically take pictures remotely. So the first one's always nice and easy. You don't actually have to do anything or move any characters. Just take a couple pictures. I did bump this light down here, but it looks like it's actually still secure, so we're okay. That's a big rule of thumb. The lights, more than anything, can't move. You can't move that stuff at all once you start, because then everything's basically just kind of ruined. So now I'm basically going to make Godzilla run forward. So we're going to be pitching his arms side to side and then slowly advancing him forward. Now, from what you guys can see here in the camera angle of the cell phone, obviously there's a bit of blurring going on. That's basically shadow effect, which has been mentioned in my previous stream. Kind of helps keep things in line with where you want. Sometimes you have to go through frame by frame to just kind of pick and choose how much it's actually worked, but this gives you a good idea what actually has happened. And for your next shot, so you can kind of plan ahead, is basically the idea. But the nice part about this camera angle too, I'm sure that you've all noticed, technically their feet, in particular Godzilla's, is not in frame, so I don't actually have to worry about moving his legs around, which makes life a lot easier. I mean, it's not that they can't, I just technically don't have to do it. I can just sell the effect of the running at that point with probably just a little bit of subtle camera shake and proper foot timing, essentially, with the sound effects afterwards. So we're just going to start moving Shimo around now, because I think that's pretty good for Godzilla. We don't need to move him too much, too fast. Maybe just a little bit more, because he is supposed to be kind of running. And one thing I might do is just kind of manipulate his legs ever so slightly, just so it looks like he is kind of bobbing up and down, as it were. Because usually when you're running, obviously your weight is being thrown around quite a lot, so we have a spike that's out of order, so we have to hit the reset button. Kinda sucks, but at least we're only 2 frames in. So, back to the start. Welcome to stop motion, or claymation in particular. So yeah, we had one spike up here that was just really, really out of whack. I did not like that. That's awesome. I see a lot of the live streamers here tend to support each other by subscribing. That's pretty cool. Oops, bumped the camera. That's something you also never really want to do unless you're intentionally trying to add camera shake, and usually by that you can just kind of move it a little bit this way, take a couple pictures, move it that way, take a couple pictures, bump it this way, take a couple pictures, bump it that way, take a couple pictures, and it just gives it that effect that the camera's kind of shaking around. So we're going to go and reset again, so we get our free couple frames. And now we'll move Godzilla forward once again, with pivoting his arms as well. We got some problems with this arm kind of cracking, which I probably should have resolved before getting too far ahead, but that's fine. I can make it work. And it's one thing, for a lot of the movements on the character itself, you don't want to really do really big ones. If anything, you only want to move them usually on average about maybe 1/4 inch to 3 to 2 millimeters even at a time, unless they're moving fast. In this case, the running motion, for example, we're probably moving them about 1/2 inch. But you don't want to move them much more than that. Unless things are going really quick and proceedingly accelerating ever so slightly, but that's for animating cars, and that's a different story. We are dealing with characters here, and actually that looks a lot more convincing this time around than it did the first time. So, maybe it's a good thing we had to hit the reset button. Just gonna do a quick test here, because I kind of want to make sure I was focused in on the right spot. So these two will be tossed, because I still have to move Shimo. Right now I don't want her to do much, so we're probably just going to kind of get prepped, maybe move that arm back just a little bit, and then we'll get into the fast motion where Godzilla's basically going to get slapped right in the face. So that'll be pretty entertaining. You get to basically see that live. It's going to be the world's slowest fight ever. Jamie wants big boom. We're not at the blast yet. We'll get there. You'll get your big boom. Actually, I could probably talk a little bit about how a good way to... Yeah, we're good on focus. Just looks kind of funny because it goes from a really different shade. Might have to boost up my exposure a little bit after posting this, unfortunately, I think. So it just kind of brings up the vibrance and lighting just a little bit. But yeah, explosions. That's what I was going to talk about. I personally thought they were going to be really difficult, but I think I kind of found a happy accident, as it were, as Bob Ross would put it, in my last stop-motion animation in this set, in the Lego City, where Gojira, the 1954 character, was basically running his rampage. I mixed in a bunch of fuzz, or cotton, for lack of a better description. Basically, my old dog's stuffy toys get recycled for animation purposes quite a lot. So that's a fun trick if you're ever using things for smoke. So I found if you usually mix a variety of different colors of plasticine or various other like paint products and stuff like that, you can usually kind of get it to look either a lot like an explosion or very, very close. What I would probably highly recommend is trying to sneak in a light or an LED inside that fuzzball if you can, and then just spray paint the edges of the cotton black to give it that burnt kind of explosion cell effect. Just go extraordinarily detailed at that point, because I've seen that done on a lot of diorama projects on YouTube. So essentially you're just taking what those diorama people are doing and doing it in a stop motion format, very, very, very slowly, building it up so it's an actual explosion kind of appearing on screen. At least that's what I would like to try and attempt. I don't really have an LED available for that at the moment, but I'm gonna do some touring around the local hobby shops, one in particular, and see if I can't find anything that will work. Claymation wants his blast. We'll get there, we'll get there. First, I want a little bit of physical confrontation before things get too serious in that regards. I think that'll kind of be... the blasting is kind of towards the grand finale. There's going to be a little bit before the whole fight ends, but... basically, it's going to be a physical physical confrontation at the beginning, and then it's going to obviously lead into them using their powers. One thing I definitely want to do is use their Thagomizers, which I would like to demonstrate for you, but those aren't obviously any... oh, you can see them back here. These things. I want Godzilla and Shimo to maybe have a bit of like a sword match with their tails. I think that'd be kind of funny. I don't know how ridiculous I want to exactly get with that, as it were, but I definitely want there to be, you know, some combat with their Thagomizers. As to whether or not I'm going to make that, I guess, funny or not, I guess that would be the next question, which I probably could have added in a poll, but maybe we'll do that next time. More close towards that part of the animation, I think, is probably a good idea. But if you, yeah, have any suggestions, let me know in the chat. Kingzilla, thanks for sticking around. Oh, nice. You're gonna do a Suko and a Doug? The ultimate pair? You have to let me know how that goes. Because, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to making a Doug. I think a lot of you are going to be pretty crazy about that one. I guarantee the, probably amongst the top comments are going to be Team Doug primarily, I would imagine. And I think, given that Doug has such a huge fandom here and throughout the Monsterverse, it seems, I think I'm going to make Doug technically the most powerful kaiju. Even though in theoretically he probably wouldn't be. I just think the idea of that monster being extraordinarily or overpowered would just be kind of funny. So our Doug's going to be extraordinarily powerful. Almighty Titanus Doug. Well, my kitty is making noise. Good news! Mr. Mittens decided he was coming back, so I could probably go get him. Yes, hi, Mr. Middies. You're right there, huh? Alright, I'll grab Mr. Mittens for everybody. Just a second. Hello, boy. Hi. What's he doing? Wanna come say hi? Tis the animals. This guy's pretty easy to maintain on stream. When he's not being a Mr. Houdini. Say hello to Mr. Mitties, everyone. Don't bump my lights. Stay away from them. Nope, go away. Go lay down, please. You're just being jealous. Yes, it is Mr. Mitties. Mr. Houdini. Yeah. Unfortunately, he found a window to escape out of yesterday, so there was a snowstorm last night and roads are really bad up in Canada, eh? And I don't think he enjoyed his time out there last night. He came back today not very happy about the current weather, but luckily he's completely hunky-dory. And I made sure that window won't be nearly as accessible anymore. So hopefully we don't have any Mr. Houdini mittens. Hi. Yes, I know you're there, sweetie. Kitty. Yes, he seems to be pretty popular, Mr. Mitties. Just gotta make sure I don't bump anything. Me? Yeah, everyone seems to love you, Mr. Mittens. They just don't know how much of a pain in the butt you are. But that's okay. Cats usually are. But anyway, I'm sure you can all see why he got his name too. He's got his extra little thumbs. Mr. Polydactyl Cat. It's probably a good opportunity to see his... Oh, don't bump that. His massive back feet. He's not very stealthy, I've noticed. Of course, he's like, no, what are you doing? And you can see he's got like 6 toes on each foot. He's got big feet, and you can hear him walking around throughout the house just stomping. He's like, buck, 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 buck. Hey? But yeah, that's Mr. Mitties. Glad he's out of the cold at this point and has returned to his rightful territory where you can disturb the peace. Ow! Yeah, but he bite. Anyway, I'm being distracted. Ow! Okay. Can I have my hand back? No. Okay. I'm gonna put you down, but there is to be no camera bumping or light bumping. Yeah, okay. Go. Shoot, beat it, scram, buddy. Okay. We're not gonna do that, are we? Stay here. Oh yeah, I was supposed to scrap those. Oh no. I think we'll be okay. No! Okay, can you go lay down? I don't like you pacing around everything like that. You're just gonna bump into something, so... You're just trying to get attention because the cat was. I don't appreciate that. Jealous much. Oh. Middies. No, get out of there. Hey, come on. Leave her alone. Okay. Back upstairs. You've had enough exploring for one day, Mr. Mittens. Okay. Now that we've had our pet interruption, back to stop motion. No! No! Leave me alone. Okay. Not liking arm movement here, so I'm going to make those slightly more jank by deleting the last couple frames here and just moving them just a little bit more, probably about a 1/4 inch or so. Now, as far as frame rate goes, I like to use 2 and 24, so that's why I'm taking 2 pictures. So that way it gives you a nice even number. And usually, I have a habit of really paying attention to those first frames that I'm always working on, because that's where, if you see any mistake, now is the time to fix it. And yeah, before you get too far and you go, oh god, what have I done? Because once you start getting into the hundreds of photo marks, you're probably not going to want to delete it at that point. So now we're going to start making Shimo move a little bit faster. Kind of gave her that initial, like, uh-oh, like, reaction. Now we want the swoop back. What did the 4 fingers say to the face? Slap! Now, with big arm movements and stuff too, it's important to pay attention to how your hand is going to technically move whilst you're doing that. So, well, for example, moving your hand back, you tend to want to open your palm just a little bit more naturally. So you kind of want to open palm and then bring that in, basically. A very subtle detail, but when you're doing animations, little things like that really help sell what is going to be basically happening. So I have to grab a drink. My throat is feeling parched. It's a little more accessible. I had a poll on the last stream, I think. I don't know if I have one on this one. But I think overall it's Team Godzilla mostly. It seems to be, everyone seems to be going for that particular character, which I'm not too surprised. At the beginning it seemed to be actually pretty evenly matched, for lack of a better description. Like, Godzilla was only winning by about 5% on average, but at this point, it seems like everyone's in favor of G-Man, per usual. Which, I can't say I'm surprised, but makes sense. I mean, fire does kind of melt ice. There we go. Only halfway through it, and now I did it, but yeah. Like I stated earlier, a lot of technical issues with this stream. I'm a little disappointed that I did that. Hopefully everyone who is waiting on that one has tuned into this one at this point. Apparently I need to be a little bit more precise with my settings. So, my apologies. Still Still kind of new to this whole streaming deal, but getting slightly better, I think. Apart from the awkward camera angles and the stop motion aspect of things here, but I always kind of figured that would be a problem, but at the same time too, it's a very good opportunity, I think, for a lot of the people who are looking to do their own animations to see this kind of stuff happen in motion, as it were. Okay, so we want him to kind of stop running at this point. Kind of think about what I want to kind of do. I think I'm gonna have him try to make a right hook, but obviously Shimo's gonna beat him. He's already kind of going in that motion too, so. A little more from Shimo. I think I need to make her move a little bit quicker, considering the pace that Godzilla's moving at. So, yeah, I generally like to really kind of go through frame by frame a lot. Takes a long time, but it's usually the best turnout I find. To strategically place every single one of your frames. So, some patience is required. However, the end result is usually always pretty cool. As long as you take your time, it's worth it. Maybe moving the foot just a little bit. Not a lot though. Well, more of the motion would come from his shoulders and arms at this point to kind of sell that he is about to try and make a punch attempt, but someone's gonna beat him to it. As suggested by Claymation Zilla. This is a good idea, by the way, so I do appreciate that. Thank you. Well, that laptop is definitely not more accessible here. I apologize for the obnoxious noises. I'll try to make that good. Welcome to my ASMR channel. Yeah. I think Doug should make Doug win. Has to be one of two things, though, I would say. I mean, it's totally up to you, your creation, but my suggestion would be you either make Doug just extremely OP, or have him have some sort of ironic win where it kind of turns out that he probably shouldn't have, but he does anyway. So, those are my two idea pitches for you. But I think Doug should be really powerful. Preferably. An OP Doug just sounds kind of too much fun, to be honest. And we want this move a little bit quicker. Shimo is going too slow. So yeah, I'm sure some of you have noticed every now and then I'm going to be kind of doing a weird motion, but that's because I'm trying to essentially mimic what I want to see on camera, so it's effectively kind of like acting with your character, so... Oh? I need to set a little bit more motion with Godzilla's arms here. So they're not looking like they're moving technically enough right now. Just a little bit further. There we go. Set his head up a little bit more so he's starting to essentially look her more in the eye. There we go. No problem, happy to help. Definitely looking forward to making my own Titanus Doug, because yeah. I have a lot of interesting plans for that character. I think it'd be kind of interesting. Kind of just a unsuspecting pot-belly dude. And then all of a sudden... the dark side of Doug. This arm seems to be presenting a lot of issues with cracking, so I'm having to slowly sculpt it together each time, which is a little annoying, but... So essentially, I have him winding up for a punch, so in order to kind of do that, we're pushing the one arm out, one back, and kind of twisting the body just to give him the extra bit of oomph. Essentially. Then back to Shimo. She's still slightly in the prepping stage herself. But we have her moving at a little bit of a faster pace. Yeah. Let me switch this around. Nice mic, so hopefully sound quality doesn't get too much worse, but at least navigation is now slightly easier. See if I... Oh, that was a bad light bump. Maybe I can stick you guys in through the actual ring light. Ah, there's some my thinking. Ah. Apologize for the jank. Probably shouldn't do that because I don't want to move the light. I don't know if that's better or not. Oh, this is not stable. But now at least you can kind of see a little bit more of the actual monsters. It's probably what I should have done, actually. There we go. Okay, now where was I? Probably have to double check my lighting at this point, unfortunately. And I think we're fine. Luckily, I use plasticine clay to essentially hold everything down so it doesn't move around. So yeah, just going frame by frame, making sure that my movements are just jank enough, if that makes any sense. Because in certain parts when you're doing fights, you want things to move fast, and some things need to move a little bit slower. So it's a fine balancing act, and usually going through your frames one by one is usually a necessary evil, I find sometimes. Once you initially have a good chunk of the heavy movements moving fast at that point, you can probably go into a bit more of a flow state. But the build-up part usually takes a little bit of time. Oops. Alright, getting ready, just about to smack Godzilla in the face. I'm gonna start speeding up her drawback just a little bit more. Maybe add a little bit twist to her body too. And then when you do that kind of thing, it's always important to try and keep your head semi-centered. So that way it doesn't look like her focal point has changed essentially at all. Because unfortunately these characters, their eyes don't move around. I do have one that does have movable eyes, but that's Scrat, and his eyeballs are massive, so it was just really easy to kind of get away with doing that. Unfortunately, with these two characters, they're kind of stuck to their neck and head motions. But I find that's usually more than enough. I could probably play with their eyes and move them around a little bit, but it would be very risky. Oops. And again. Probably 4 to 5 more. Okay, 6 because I do even numbers. With Shimo winding up, if that. Because it's starting to look a little strange. Because you don't want to stretch her shoulder out too far to the point that it starts looking unnatural either, right? Which it would be kind of capable of doing in this case. Without, not to the extent of what the joint can actually is capable of. Like, it can move a lot more than what your joint normally probably should or would. I need to move fingers back just a little bit more. Kind of give it that appearance that it's going curling back, and then we're going to have it snap in. I don't think I moved his head enough there. Nope. Take 2. We need more head movement out of you. There we go. Oof. I apologize. I know that's contagious. Brownie Jackson, thanks for tuning in. Get to your chat right away. I do say. Just got to make sure my hands are out of the way during this stop motion, I do say. Because that's the last thing you want. You don't want your hands in there. Because that would be bad, okay? Can this thing turn around far enough to see me? Not really. Back to the monsters. I have the amount of clay that it's in my house is obscene. Everyone will get to see that pretty soon. I'm gonna do a house tour at some point, just kind of showing off all of my setup for stop motion essentially around my house, because my house is basically a studio. But both these characters alone are probably... Shimo is about 7-8 pounds maybe, and Godzilla is probably 6 to 8. Or no, 6 to 7. So you got about 14-15 pounds of clay sitting just right here for these two characters. They're pretty big. Oh, cool. Kingzilla, you're working on a stop motion while I'm doing stop motion? That's awesome. Double stop motion action. Speaking of which, I should probably get back to moving things around bit by bit. Almost have a second of footage now. Almost. Not an hour in, so that's pretty average. Okay. I have to do some acting here. lack of a better description. So I'll share my embarrassing moment where I kind of have to act out what Shimo's slap's going to be. Bang! Okay. Need to open that palm just a little bit more. I think that's about as far back of a stretch as I need on Shimo. I know you guys can't see her arm in this angle, unfortunately, but it's basically kind of back up as far as it would go. So Godzilla's in for one heck of a slap here. One could say, I think he's going to feel that the next day. I could probably bump her shoulder up and elbow just a little bit more. There we go. Put a little twist into the body too. That should be mentioned too. At this point, early people in the stream will know, but yeah, there's a big support rod here. There's no way I could do this, unfortunately, without that. I was hoping to avoid kind of having those things in this animation, but in the case of this giant Shimo standing up on two legs like that, it's kind of impossible to avoid. Now I need to tilt her head back so she's staying on her main focus point. If not, narrowing in on it a little bit. Now back to Godzilla. Having him kind of be a cocky chotch and roar in her face. Oops, dropped the spike. Now with claymation dolls, especially up to this scale too, should probably be mentioned, sometimes you have to kind of move them just a little bit past that boundary on where you might feel safe. Because with what happened there, the reason I had to go back and adjust it is because it kind of wants to fade back down to that safe spot or more relaxed position, so it looked like it hardly moved and was not registering enough as a actual good motion, so I had to push it just a little bit further than what I would want, but it kind of fell back down, so every now and then with bigger characters like this, you kind of have to do that, just push it a little bit further and let gravity kind of do its course. Because you're always going to be fighting that, unfortunately, when you're doing this. Okay, I think we're about to start that big swing in. gonna have her basically do one more kind of small twist in back with the arm, but not much. Then we're gonna speed things up and bring it in. Okay. I think I'm good just going through the whole video. I have things set so basically it'll only kind of go like through the last frames in a certain mode, but then when you go into like the editor format, it will play the entire bit through. Okay. Time for Godzilla to get slapped. It's gonna take a little bit, but it'd be a lot faster than the rest. Because now her arm is going to be probably moving 3 or 4 times as fast. At least in comparison. Oh no. And again, it's really important to make sure you keep the face square, because now the rest of her is going to be kind of moving and twisting around pretty quick. So her face is going to want to be her way, but you want to make sure that that stays on target. Because usually, if you're hitting something, it's kind of where you're staying focused at. I gotta do my motion things. Whack. Okay, gotta bring this arm in. Have in our hands curled just slightly. Play around with Godzilla's tongue just a little bit. So now we got the first motion towards the face with the slap. Now we're really going to kind of pick things up a bit and go quite a bit faster. This is the part where it's just that initial little jerk that you would be kind of moving and then follow through. I would demonstrate more, but I can't smack anything. Oh yeah, opposite way. I'm going to go in now, not out. So yeah, integrate. For when you're doing your stop motion animations, I generally like to integrate what I would be basically doing in that motion. It makes doing your animations a lot more realistic, or kind of sells the fact that it would be actually moving that way. Because, I mean, we are talking about fictitious creatures here, so you can't really compare them to anything else. You can't, because it just doesn't work that way, but you get the gist. Oh. And one thing too, when you're doing your punches, you want to make sure things kind of stay on target. And unfortunately, I think I kind of dislocated her arm a little bit, so we got some drooping problems. Because I need it to stay focused up about here, and it's down here. Permission to say privates. Yeah, I have to sneak around back there somehow. May I actually have to do is just grab an extra piece of clay and wedge it in between there, I say. Just act as a bit of a brace. So that way her arm can remain dislocated. Because no one can actually. Oh no! Okay, well, on that note, I think I'm gonna have some surgery to do now. It didn't work. Okay, well, I think I'm probably going to kind of just end things on that note, as bad as that is, just because just makes things a little easier, because it's going to be kind of hard to fix that, unfortunately, because now I have Shimo's arm. As you can see, things don't always go smoothly here. We had some technical issues with starting the stream where I had to completely do my resettings. Now I got some arm surgery to do. But luckily, this is actually really minor. It looks bad. Uh-oh. Hey. Another trick. Tie off your cables. Because if you bump things by accident like that, at least the knot's going to take the impact, not the camera. Camera didn't move, so we're good. But yeah, this looks bad, but it will be really easy. All I have to do is like pop it back into place with the ball joint and just push things around again. The hard part is getting it exactly where I need it to be in that next frame bit. So that's really difficult, unfortunately. So before things end, this is now always a good idea to, well, plug in any requests or ideas that you kind of have. Because, yeah, things haven't gone well. Not Shimo. No, yeah. This stuff happens, unfortunately, quite a bit. As you can see, I'm pretty nonchalant about it. It's like, okay. This again? So, yeah. It's really not a big deal. Just kind of sucks. It's going to be probably about 10-15 minutes, if not more, of resetting. As long as I don't bump anything. That's the tricky part, because if I bump the lights or the camera really bad, then it's over. So, there's that. But we got a total of like 1 second of footage almost here, so I guess you guys can kind of see what happens. For a little sneak preview on a tiny cell phone on a live stream, so not much. Basically, Shimo's winding up, Godzilla steps up, and he's about to get smacked in the face. So, obviously, if you want to see the end results, you're gonna have to watch probably the full animation. So, yeah, be sure to, have your post notifications on, so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos, because Shimo's Supercut will be coming out soon, as well as this animation, and then the video tour, and various other things. Because, yeah, we're kind of doing a late celebration for 4K, I do say. And Gaming with Adams. Thanks for tuning in. Little late, but better late than never. Oh, by the way, you go on Google, type GXK, download. Okay. GXK and Viper. I mean, I like Vipers. Viper used to be one of my dream cars growing up. The Dodge Viper. Something about that big V10, to be quite honest, is really cool. So, yeah. Sadly, they don't make that car anymore, but I digress. Probably shouldn't get into cars because I will I will rant and rant and rant on about that, unfortunately. I know I will. I know myself better than that. And I don't think there are many car guys here that would understand my carnese. That's almost an entire language in itself, along with speaking dinosaur, but I mean, arguably speaking dinosaur is more of a different language because it's actually Latin and Greek a lot of the time, although you will have some Japanese stuff in there with a lot of the dinosaurs, but I honestly don't have a whole lot of those dinosaur names memorized because, yeah. What was one? Ichi. Ichi is like the only one that I can have memorized because it's an easy one. There's a couple others, but I'm gonna butcher it really bad, so I'm not gonna try. But Ichi is really cool. It's like an actual, almost a mini wyvern, for lack of a better description. It actually looks like a dragon almost. It's very weird. Oh, I know you're referring to the viper like the snake. But yeah. Technically the car is named after the snake too. So that's why immediately I went on a tangent. I was like, "Oh, viper." Gears start turning slowly in my head. But yeah. This has been fun, but I got some surgery to do, everyone, so I have to say farewell to you today, and we'll see you all next time, I do say. So be sure to hit all those like buttons, and, well, comment below what you think, share with your friends, and hopefully the surgery goes well, and I'll keep you guys updated with the shorts and all that various other stuff. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. Till next time, that's enough from me. Take it easy.